Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. Today's episode is short and sweet, where I lay down some serious content with step-by-step strategies for success. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is for all my listeners that have short-term rentals. You all should be using white sheets and white towels. Yes, you heard me, white. Haven't you seen that news special where they took the black light to the hotel room sheets? Ugh. Some inexperienced hosts think they should use darker sheets or towels so it hides any stains. You always want to use white so they can be bleached. This is the best way to kill germs and any DNA left by guests. I stayed at a VRBO one time and it had brown sheets, and honestly, it just felt gross. This also goes for that stupid random black washcloth that someone thought was a great idea to provide for ladies to remove eye makeup. Instead, just invest in some individual packets of eye makeup remover wipes. Ladies appreciate the extra effort, and I have never had to toss out a white washcloth because of some mascara. And besides, what lady doesn't want to try out a different product once in a while? If you do get a horrible stain on a towel or top sheet that can't be removed with bleach, then you absolutely must replace it. Your guests will be grateful for the fresh white linens. Now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. I will be reading one of my blogs, and you can always go and look them up at therealjenjosie.com. Today, I will be reading 5 factors to avoid disasters when working with contractors. I worked really hard on that title. I taught middle school for 16 years. I really loved teaching until I woke up one day and realized I hated children. Now, I'm joking. I did love 92% of my time in the classroom. I simply hated the part where I felt like an underpaid babysitter. At the end of each day, I had to gather all the forgotten lunchboxes and sweaty gym clothes and take them to Lost and Found. I broke up many fights in my day, once even getting whiplash, and spent the next few months going to a chiropractor. My classroom was in the back of the building, so I would have to call administration every time I saw a group of kids sneaking off campus. During field trips, I would constantly count heads to make sure I didn't lose any kids, all while making sure Barry wasn't mooning the other bus again. By the way, that's his real name. When I left teaching, I was so relieved to think I would never have to deal with babysitting ever again. That was until I started flipping houses. Who would have thunk that dealing with some contractors would just be like babysitting middle schoolers, but in the form of grown-ass adults? But let me start at the beginning. Here are 5 factors to avoid disasters when working with contractors. Number 1, mandatory musts. The first and most important is to make sure you hire licensed and insured contractors. The contractors that need to carry a license are general contractors, electricians, plumbers, and mechanicals, better known as your HVAC technicians. If you are hiring a carpenter to fix your baseboards, they do not need to be licensed, but they should have insurance. I make all my contractors sign the following 6 documents: independent contractor agreement, scope of work, indemnification insurance agreement, payment schedule, W-9, and lien waiver. The independent contractor agreement includes the amount agreed upon during the bidding process, time frame, 1-year warranty, services provided, and more. One item we include is a daily penalty for every day over their determined completion date. If they tell us the job will be completed by the 15th, we give a little buffer, and then we will start to deduct $100 a day from their pay for each day they go over. Yes, things happen like weather delays, for which we do not hold the contractor accountable. The scope of work is signed by both parties, so it is completely clear what is expected to be done on the property. The indemnification insurance agreement basically adds you, the investor, to the contractor's insurance policy, which protects both parties. This is very common. All they have to do is call their insurance provider and add you to the policy at no cost to you during the length of the job. The payment schedule is a list of milestones or benchmarks that must be met before payment is distributed. A W-9 is a tax document that needs to be completed by anyone you pay more than $600 a year. It is super smart to get this signed at the beginning so you are not chasing down contractors at tax season. Ask me how I know. And finally, a lien waiver is the only document signed at the completion of the project. It states that all work has been completed and paid for, including any materials provided by the contractor. Number 2, how to find vetted contractors. Contractors are everywhere. You just need to know how to find them. If I'm driving through a neighborhood and see a vacant property getting rehabbed, I will walk onto the site and ask to speak to the head contractor for contact information. Typically, these contractors are already working with investors or builders, not retail homeowners. If I'm invited inside the property, this gives me a chance to see their quality of work. I also stock Lowe's and Home Depot for contractors. If someone's wearing a trade shirt, I will always ask if they work with investors. Sometimes they say they only work with retail clients and aren't sure how it works with investors. I let them know that even though we pay wholesale prices for labor, we provide consistent projects that come with a detailed scope of work for a vacant property where they don't have to deal with a homeowner. You may meet a frustrated retail painter that is there for the 3rd time because the woman he's working for has changed the color choice again, and now he's losing money because he can only work 3 hours a day while her kid is at gymnastics. The best and most vetted contractors come from my network of other real estate investors. If you are just starting out, I suggest you join every local real estate investor Facebook group out there. After a quick scroll through the posts, you will see who the real players are. When you need a specific contractor, you can send a private message to an experienced investor asking for a referral. I do this instead of posting a general inquiry in the group because investors may be willing to share their favorite chimney guy with you, but not everyone. That way, the chimney guy doesn't get overbooked, so the original investor can't hire him when needed. On a side note, before you refer any of your contractors to other investors, you should always ask their permission first. I have one contractor that cuts me a deal on all my projects simply because he says I'm so easy to work with. He let me know that if I refer him to others, which he welcomes, that his regular price is a bit higher than what he charges me. Number 3, code of conduct. During our first large renovation, I received a phone call from a neighbor letting me know that the police were at our rehab breaking up a fight. This is when I quickly realized I was dealing with middle schoolers again, just in the form of contractors. Turns out my plumber refused to pay one of his subcontractors from a different job, and that guy tracked him down at our property. My plumber is the one who called the police to have him removed, and that neighbor, well, they were just a little bit overdramatic. This is when I decided to start posting the following code of conduct at all of our job sites. Every trade is responsible for cleaning up after themselves every day. Every trade is responsible for the removal of all their trash from the job site when their work is finished. If Jolific Homes has to pay to have the site cleaned, all responsible trades will be back charged. The job site is to be broom swept at the end of every day. No smoking in the house or on the premises. No loud music playing. When visitors arrive at the job site, no music is to be played at all. No fighting, arguing, or having disagreements where neighbors can see or hear you. Respect the neighbors and the neighborhood, pick up your trash, and keep the streets clean. Last one to leave the job site is responsible for securing the site completely. This includes, but is not limited to, locking every door and window. Make sure there are no materials or trash at the front of the house. Keep the curb appeal clean and presentable. Each trade is responsible for all their materials and tools. Leave tools and materials at your own risk. And lastly, represent your company and Jolific Homes proudly. Since I started posting this code of conduct at all of our work sites, I have found it entertaining when contractors started to tattletale on each other, another experience I don't miss from my teaching days. My painter has texted photos of Bojangles cups left on counters that the flooring guys left behind. My landscaper let me know when the countertop guys left an old sink under a bush. My guys know that if they wish to continue working with us, they need to follow the house rules. If I'm not there to bust them, somebody else will. Number 4, contractor schedule. In addition to the code of conduct, I also post a schedule of what trades are working on what days. My painter is the one that suggested it, and it has been a tremendous help. Since time is money, I schedule multiple trades each day. Having a color-coded calendar posted lets my plumber see when my tile guy will be working, so he knows to complete the bathrooms before he installs the hot water heater. I also condense the scope of work and add it to the bottom of the schedule. I briefly state what each trade is doing during their time at the work site. This includes paint colors, which light fixture is getting replaced, etc. So there is zero confusion on what each trade is doing. Now, mistakes are inevitable, so this is just one more point of reference so the wrong wall doesn't get demoed. This also helps reduce questions from other trades on what is getting done by the rest of the team. Number 5, you get what you pay for. All investors like to save anywhere they can during a rehab. When you are getting bids from contractors, taking the lowest bid on everything can cost you more in the long run. A perfect example is my tale of 2 flooring companies. I was working with a super great guy, Mickey, that's his real name, who was a referral from another investor. Mickey was so easy to work with, but his prices were a little high. I had another investor talk me into using his new flooring company where he could get me the same product installed for half the price. Well, the first project was great, even though they installed the planks horizontally when I specifically requested vertically. The second project went 2 days past when they promised completion, which held up the rest of my contractors. The third project was a total shit show. They had this new product for stairs, and I paid $1,800 for these stairs in a $500,000 project. There were no risers or spindles, which, by the way, they included on their bid. Not to mention, there is exposed wood on the sides. If you go to my blog at therealjenjosie.com, you can see a photo of this total shit show. Now, thank goodness my amazing general contractor and his magical carpenter were able to step in and finish the job. Needless to say, I went back to my main man, Mickey, and I've been happy ever since. With all these factors in place, I have been able to establish an awesome team of contractors. It has taken a lot of time and money to find them, so I know the importance of keeping them happy. Every chance I get, I let them know how appreciated they are. And also, I am proud to announce my babysitting days are over. So, folks, that is all. Thank you for listening. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.